The evening was slowly approaching. As night fell, the lights suddenly went out. You wake up in the night and find your room bathed in a mysterious half-light. Even though the windows are tightly closed, you feel a cold breeze. Once, you hear a voice calling your name. A faint but unmistakable whine is heard. That nun, she's here because her curse is starting to spread. Welcome to Next If, where today we explore a daunting question. What if the nun's curse spreads across the world? Not only how it can happen, but considering the catastrophic consequences that may follow, let's dive deeper into this cool scenario. Don't be afraid, Next If will stay close to you. The story begins in a remote village in Romania, just like the original story of the nun. Strange occurrences are reported, objects moving on their own, eerie noises at night, and villagers disappearing without a trace. Unable to control the growing darkness, local priests and exorcists are overwhelmed. The curse is no longer limited, it has found a way to spread. But how? How can such an evil force go from an isolated village to engulf the entire world? Let's turn to the science and possibilities that make this nightmare possible. Imagine that the nun's curse is more than just a supernatural force. It is a parasitic entity. Recent studies in parasitology and virology reveal that certain organisms can manipulate their hosts in horrific ways. What if this curse had a biological component, like a virus that could spread through air or water? This parasitic organism is airborne, attached to dust particles or water droplets, and travels great distances on the wind. It can infiltrate the water supply and silently infect anyone who drinks or bathes in the water. Rapid spread is inevitable. Airplanes and international travel act as vectors, carrying the curse across continents in hours. Once inside the human body, this entity hijacks the nervous system, causing hallucinations and panic attacks. It feeds the terror it creates. It's a perfect cycle of terror that spreads faster with each new victim. Now, imagine the psychological impact. Mass hysteria grips communities as more and more people report sightings of the nun. Hospitals are overflowing not only with the physically sick but with the terror craze. The curse thrives on fear, strengthening with each new soul it captures. Governments are scrambling to answer. Martial law has been declared in many countries. Quarantine and curfews become commonplace as authorities try to control the spread. But the nun's curse is relentless. There is no respite from exorcisms and religious rituals. Scientists work around the clock, but the curse defies all conventional understanding. News anchors report strange phenomena around the world. Electronics fail, cities experience unexplained power outages, and people disappear without a trace. The curse has evolved, affecting not only individuals but entire infrastructures. Lines of communication break down and plunge the world into a technological dark age. Fear and superstition take hold in the confusion. Communities turn against each other, looking for someone to blame. Witch hunts and public executions return. People believe that the nun will appease the cursed by sacrificing them. Society teeters on the brink of collapse as humanity reverts to its darkest instincts in a desperate bid for survival. Then, the unthinkable happens. The curse reaches critical mass. Entire cities are engulfed in darkness. The nun's presence is no longer a shadow lurking in the corners, but a palpable oppressive force. Her influence extends to every corner of the world. The globe, untouched by any sanctuary. In the end, humanity will be broken, facing a world full of night howls and shadows. The nun's curse has become an inescapable reality that draws us in, an age of endless terror and despair. The question remains, is there any hope left? Can humanity find a way out of this eternal nightmare? Or are we destined to live in a world where darkness never fades? Thank you for joining us on this awesome journey. Let's delve deeper into the scientific underpinnings of this curse. Could a parasitic entity really have such power in nature? We find disturbing examples that suggest it is possible. Take the Ophiocordyceps fungus that infects ants, taking over their central nervous system and forcing them to act against their own survival instincts. What if the nun's curse worked on a similar principle but on a much larger scale? If a parasitic entity evolved to manipulate human neurochemistry, it could theoretically cause widespread hallucinations and panic attacks of the kind associated with the nun. Modern neuroscience tells us that the brain's amygdala is responsible for processing fear. An entity that can tap into this part of the brain can effectively turn our minds against us, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of terror. This curse disrupts our hormonal balance, increases cortisol levels, and causes chronic stress. Prolonged exposure to such stress can weaken the immune system, leaving people vulnerable to other diseases and further spreading the curse. The psychological toll leading to increased anxiety, depression will be immense. The implications for global society are dire. As healthcare systems crumble under the stress, economies will falter. Rational discourse and scientific inquiry will give way to fear and mob justice, along with the control of fear and superstition. The social fabric will unfold, leaving humanity isolated and vulnerable. In this grim future, the only hope lies in finding a way to disrupt the biological mechanism of the curse. Researchers will need to explore the uncharted territories of virology, neuroscience, and even exorcism, finding a way to counteract the parasitic effect. The stake has never been higher, and the path to escape is full of dangers. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into a scary hypothesis. If you found this quest inspiring, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more cool moments. Be curious, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the scariest things hide in plain sight. Until next time on Next Names.